Here at High Point Raceway at Mount Morris, and some of the most tense and exciting moments right now for the riders, John.
Well, this is where it all happens. We know in outdoor motocross that the start is everything. These guys are going to try for the hole shot. They're off. Let's see who gets that important hole shot out of turn one.
Everybody makes it through cleanly through turn one as they come out around the first 5-10. Kevin Windham, a 16-year-old rookie rider, his second outdoor event only, has grabbed the hole shot, Jan.
Well, he's got a great start here, and all these young riders dream of getting a hole shot like this. Now we'll get to see if the Team Green rider, how long he can hold out in the first position.
Well, it looks like it may not be very long, as he's got Ezra Lusk hot on his tail.
Now, Ezra Lusk hasn't had that great of starts recently, so he also got out of the gate well.
And you see Doug Henry also out of the gate pretty well, but this young man, Kevin Windham, with a great ride so far. Let's check in with Jerry, who is with Kevin's father.
What do you think? Kevin Windham, your kid, you're not even giving him a pit board. He's so far out in front.
There's a lot of racing left. Maybe this will do something for his confidence.
It's his second national?
Second national, yeah. I'm pretty excited at this point.
What do you think's going on in his mind right now?
I haven't the slightest idea.
He's out front. That's all he cares about. We'll see what happens.
Well, right now he's got to be feeling pretty good as Kevin Windham leads it, and looks like trouble out on the race course.
Well, Denny Stevenson is taking a tumble here. He did a huge cartwheel. Look, the crowd is cheering. Well, it's the second time he's gone off in this race. He crashed in the second turn and then just did a huge cartwheel. Oh, man, he's hurting, but, you know, when you get applause, it doesn't hurt so bad.
That's true. I guess that kind of takes the hurt ride out of it, makes you feel a little bit better. Someone who's not hurting right now is this young 16-year-old rider from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's only his second outdoor moto. He made his debut earlier this year at Gainesville. Right now, he's got to be having the time of his life.
He is. He's one of the Kawasaki Team Green riders. He's won amateur titles. He's come up in a very similar fashion to Robbie Raynard. As we see here, Ezra Lusk chasing him down.
What is he thinking about? He's got to know that everybody, all these big-name riders, are chasing him down. Does he have the mental attitude, you think, ready this early in his career to hold those guys off?
Well, it's too early to tell. Anytime you get a hole shot like that, the adrenaline is pumping so hard that right now he's just trying to just ride absolutely as hard as he can. Now, see, here's another guy, Craig Decker, who has been having good motos recently, and right now he's holding off Jeff Emig.
Now, you'd mentioned Robbie Raynard. He is right behind Jeff Emig. They got off to not exactly the type of start that they would like, and they're trying to work their way back up through the pack. But right now, Emig has his hands full trying to chase down Craig Decker. Remember, Decker had a great ride last week at Budds Creek, Maryland, but right now it looks like Emig is beginning to close in on him.
Well, they're side by side at the moment. This could be where he makes a move, but as we've seen before, Craig Decker does not give up easily. But Emig, Mr. 125 as they call him, he's on a roll, and he moves right by him.
Well, of course, good reason for Jeff Emig to be called Mr. 125. Already an overall win this year. You look at Steve Butler. He turns the wrenches on that Yamaha for Jeff Emig. 5 wins last year, 6 wins in 1992 when Jeff Emig won the title in the 125 class.
Now, of course, he's the only repeat winner we have this year as we see these riders go through the Bradshaw doubles. There's one. There's 2. They have to double these. Here comes another, and then one more to finish it off.
A very aggressive run right there past the appreciative crowd on hand. Kevin Windham, the rookie, is leading it. We'll be right back. Welcome back to High Point Raceway, Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, right near the Pennsylvania-West Virginia border. Jan Beekes, Jerry Bernardo, and John Kernan bringing you all the action today. And we've got the makings of a great race here as Kevin Windham, a 16-year-old, has grabbed the hole shot, and right now he's leading some of the hot and heavy competition. Ezra Lusk, 17 on the Suzuki, and number 1, the defending national champion, Doug Henry, on the Honda.
Now, the amazing thing is that Lusk is not able to stay with Windham. Windham, oh, look, here comes Henry.
Man, that was a great move as he just out-jumped Ezra Lusk to move back into first place. Remember, Henry having some stomach problems in the early part of the year, the defending national champ, not getting off to the kind of start that he would like to, but he's moved up into second place.
Yes, now we'll have to see if possibly he can catch Windham. This Windham kid is really going out front. And Doug Henry now is finally starting to regain some composure. Now, of course, we also have to say that Lusk has to get together here because of that huge crash he had at Budds Creek.
Has to get it together, try and gather as many points, get the best type of finish that he can. And Doug Henry still not out of the title chase as we look at Kevin Windham once again continuing to lead this pack. But, you know, Jan, it looks like Doug Henry, once he got around Ezra Lusk, has been able to close the gap a bit.
Yes, he's able to close that gap on Windham because now he has clear track ahead of him with the exception of the Kawasaki rider.
Well, Doug Henry, as you see Ezra Lusk come through, Ezra once again would like to get a great finish, but right now Doug Henry is moving his way toward the front. Let's check in with Jerry.
I don't know about you, but if I was Kevin Windham and knew the #1 player to Doug Henry was crawling on my butt at the halfway point, what do you think?
Well, I think the kid's going to ride a smart race, and he'll try to hang as long as he can. And hopefully my man can get around him.
Yeah. Looks like Doug's making some serious leeway there, cutting down.
Yeah, I feel that he's prepared for today, and if his stomach problem that we've had a couple of races holds up, he'll be in good shape.
All right, thanks, Pete.
Those stomach troubles that he mentioned for Doug Henry was diagnosed as a stomach virus, and he has to eat a very bland diet. He can't eat anything with any flavor. He's eating rice and bread and all kinds of things to try and get that stomach and get that adrenaline and get that endurance back up. And right now, it's been working in the first motos, but he's still struggling in the second motos.
So I guess pizza, even if it's on whole wheat crust, does not count as bland?
No, I don't think that's on his diet for right now. And he doesn't mind eating that kind of food if he can pull these kind of performances. Right there, you saw that they're singling that jump, but the 250s can make that uphill double. And some of these guys we've seen earlier, Doug Henry being one of those, is a guy who occasionally can land on top of that uphill jump.
Well, it looks like Doug Henry is slowly closing down the gap. Let's go back a little further in the top 5 to Steve Lamson, Henry's teammate, who is also the current points leader in the Outdoor 125 series. He came into Mount Morris enjoying a 14-point lead over Damon Huffman. Right now, he has moved into the top 5, running 4th currently.
Now, 4th place is not bad for Lamson. He didn't get a great start. If he can stay there, that's good for points, and I'm sure towards the end of this race, he'll be turning up the heat.
But speaking of turning up the heat, there's Kevin Windham, the leader, but right behind the 16-year-old rookie comes Doug Henry. As you see that red Honda come in, and oh, there's a problem right there in the turn. Henry loses it. The bike will go down. He hops back on, gets it refired, and he is away, but he lost a lot of ground to Windham.
Well, the good news there is that the bike was still running. He didn't actually lose a position, but we can see Ezra Lusk did close the gap. Let's look at it. The whole bike slips out. He got on the power just a little too early, lost the front and the rear all at the same time, but thankfully, like we said, the thing was still running.
But once again, Ezra Lusk has closed in on Doug Henry. Remember that battle they had earlier on in this first moto. Lusk was actually second. Once Henry got around him, he was able to put some distance on him. We'll have to see if Doug Henry is able to fly away from Ezra Lusk once again. We're midway through moto #1. Kevin Windham continues to lead it.
The new Volkswagen Golf features a track-correcting rear axle and an improved turning radius of just 32.5 feet, all of which makes the tight-handling Golf the perfect car for the city.
Cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft, the cold one. For those who've discovered its smooth draft taste,
you know, I've been looking for that.
The world is a very cool place. So get out of the old and get into the cold.
To you, the new Volkswagen Golf may not look more aerodynamic than a Porsche 928. But then, you're not a bug.
180 degrees east, 20 degrees south. An island outside of time, where mind and body test nature, and the spirit is reborn. ESPN2's Adventure Island Contest. Your chance to explore the outer depths and test the inner soul. You and 10 companions of your choosing will discover Marlin Bay, Fiji. To enter, call 1-900-535-ISLAND, 95 cents per call. No purchase or phone call necessary. You must be 21 or over. To enter by mail, hand print your name, address, age, and home phone on a 3x5 card and send it to ESPN2's Adventure Island Contest, P.O. Box 2387, Redondo Beach, California, 90278. ESPN2's Adventure Island Contest. God created life. It's up to you to live it. Brought to you by Light Ice from Miller. More of what you want, less of what you don't.
We are back at High Point Raceway, Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, and Doug Henry being pursued hotly by Ezra Lusk. And there's the points leader, Steve Lamson, who's done a good job hanging on to that 4th position.
Well, he's doing exactly what he needs to do. He didn't get a great start, but he's trying to save a little bit of energy, see if he can move up a couple positions and get some more valuable points.
Speaking of those valuable points, Doug Henry, who won 3 overall events last year, still looking for his first moto victory of the season. He rides along in 2nd place. But, you know, I mentioned earlier, he's not out of the points championship. He came in only 26 points behind, and we're only in the 4th race of the year.
Well, of course, the way he performed last year, we know he has the talent to do this, but it has been a physical conditioning problem with that stomach virus we talked about. He's getting stronger and stronger every race. We saw him slip there. Can he catch Kevin Windham, which at the moment he's just checked out?
Man, Kevin Windham, you got to wonder, though, how much gas he's got. This is only his 2nd outdoor professional event, and the toll, I mean, it's got to take its toll on him.
Well, those guys, when they ride the amateur series, which he has won titles in, they do run 30-minute motos, so he will be used to it, but he's never had this kind of pressure.
I guess you could say that when he's been riding in the amateur motos, he has been the man to beat. He's the guy who's been putting the pressure on the other riders. But right now, Doug Henry trying to put the pressure on the leader, 16-year-old Kevin Windham. We're up on the Damon Branch. Oh, my goodness, look at that. Ezra Lusk is off the course.
Well, look at that presence of mind to strip that banner. Now, it looks like he's given up. He hasn't. What he did there, he has to slow down and make sure that he did not gain a position. If you go off course and don't pick up a position, as we see on the replay here, he came down a little crossed up and decided rather than crash, just go off course, lose a position. We see Lamson come through. He'll be back on the gas, and he will retain now 1 spot back.
Yeah, but Ryan Hughes is looking to move in. Hughes running along in the 5th position as he will now set his sights on Ezra Lusk. And you see Robbie Rayner, that's someone else we hadn't talked about much today, another young rider in his 2nd season as a professional. But right now, Ryan Hughes trying to overtake Ezra Lusk for that 4th position.
Now, Ryan Hughes has had some great races. He's one of the few riders that each time we watch in these motos, he works from the back and comes up. He has been really tough this year.
Well, Ryan Hughes has been improving every week. Doug Henry has also been improving, but Mr. Consistency has been just that, consistent. Let's check in his pits.
Okay, Lammy was in 4th for a while, but he's putting on a good charge. I don't think he wants to be out of that top 3 spot.
No, that's what we're trying for, to stay up in the top 3 all the time. It seems like Lusk just jumped off the track over there.
Yeah.
Took a little long way around.
Lammy's looking strong.
Yeah, he is. That's where we hope to be.
Almost 1 down, and then the next moto, we'll see.
That's right.
Well, thank you very much, Jerry Bernardo. Doug Henry, a man on a mission as he tries to chase down Kevin Windham. And just looking back over at last year's, he has a little problem there. Last year at Mount Morris, he finished 2nd overall, 2nd and 3rd. And there's the man who tunes that Honda, Pete Steinbrecher, does an excellent job.
As Doug Henry came down that hill, we saw the bike jumping from side to side. He's nice and loose on the bike, but the bike is slipping out from under him. He's obviously pushing very hard to try and catch Windham.
Wasn't earlier in the year at Gainesville, didn't he have he tightened up quite a bit, one of those as the moto went on? But now he's kind of worked himself back into shape.
Well, I think the problem is he just hasn't had the physical conditioning because he can't eat and get the kind of nourishment that he had in the past. So now he's finally starting to get some strength, and he's just having to try and keep that momentum going. Now we see Lusk and also Ryan Hughes going at it.
And that's a battle for 4th. Lusk has it, but Ryan Hughes would like to have it. Ezra Lusk trying to hang on to that position. As he comes around that right-hander, he gets a little bit of advantage and scoots away as they'll come up the hill on a small double jump right there.
As they come around, you can see that on the uphill sections of an outdoor course, you have nice camber, you have nice banking to hold you. But when you get at the bottom of the hill, you have these darn off-camber turns right here. Look how careful they are. Very careful with the clutch and with the power.
Now, we talked about the off-camber turns last week, and right there, look at that. Ezra Lusk, that was that double, the uphill double. Call it the David Bailey double, I guess we could, where we saw most everybody singling it, but Ezra Lusk did a double.
Yes, our own colleague David Bailey was the first one to double that, and it is fairly easy now with the new 250s, but it's really a job here on the 125s. The interesting thing, Lusk was singling that. Then he felt the pressure from Ryan Hughes. Now he's harder on the gas. You can see that he's going for it.
Well, he knows that the Moto #1 is just about to come to an end as Hughes gets on the inside, tries to make the move for the 4th position, but Ezra comes away with it.
Well, when you have an off-camber turn like that, if you go to the inside, you can't get the traction, and Lusk was on the outside and had the berm, had a much harder drive. These Bradshaw doubles are great. I'll tell you, your timing has to be perfect.
I'll tell you one other thing that's perfect about those doubles. The fans get some of the most exciting shots there. Look at everybody here, Jan. There are more than 10,000 people gathered here for this event, and they have had some great racing to watch.
Well, you can hear them cheering right now, and these riders can hear the fans cheer. I tell you, when you start getting tired, especially in the second moto, that will be what motivates these guys, is the fans cheering them on.
Something that's motivating Ryan Hughes right now is the 4th spot that Ezra Lusk occupies. Ryan trying to make a bid for it.
Now, talk about motivation. He has, as we see him come alongside, oh, didn't quite have the line, but man, he is trying hard. He has dedicated, oh, he goes to the inside. They're side by side. He has dedicated this season to his father, who passed away this year, and he is motivated to win these races in memory of his father, and he's done just that.
Well, right now, Ryan Hughes has moved around Ezra Lusk into the 4th position, and you could hear the fans cheering wildly. We are in the closing stages. In fact, we'll be right back with the final laps. Kevin Windham continues to lead. On the final lap, rookie Kevin Windham, age 16 years old, out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, is looking to win his first moto as a professional.
I'll tell you what, to go out and win your first moto, but look at the fans. What they're doing is they're cheering on Doug Henry, because Doug Henry is possibly close enough, because the last lap here is a long way. And look, you can tell that Windham is tiring, and here comes Doug Henry.
In fact, Doug Henry made up probably about 50 yards right there as they came up the hill around that one left-hand turn. And we spoke about it before, the conditioning. Could Kevin Windham be tiring on the final lap? But what a time to do it.
Yeah, you can see he is definitely tiring, but man, you only have one lap to go. It's so rare you have an opportunity to win, and especially only in your second moto. But here comes Doug Henry.
Doug Henry on the outside. They come over the jump, and he gets his slight advantage. They go up the hill to the left-hander. Henry has the preferred line, and Doug Henry, the defending champion in the 125 outdoor class, has taken over the lead. But man, what a ride for Kevin Windham.
Well, Kevin Windham just let him go. Obviously, he is absolutely exhausted. He just stood up and said, go ahead, I just can't stay ahead of you any longer. But boy, you have to take your helmet off, I guess you would say, to this young rider. He has done a great job. Now, if Henry continues the way he is doing, this will be his first victory of the year.
His first victory in a moto, and it will set him up in good position for the second moto to try and win the overall title. But Doug Henry, the defending champion, in charge right now as he is pulling away from a very tired, worn-out Kevin Windham.
And that shows why you have to always push just as hard as you can. If Doug Henry had not kept pushing Kevin Windham, he would not have been able to tire him out. But he kept pushing, and look, it paid off for him here at the very end. And he's waving to the crowd. This is the first time we've seen a guy celebrate going over the jumps as he finishes, gets it crossed up. Doug Henry with the victory.
And let's take a look at how they finished up. Of course, Henry with the win in Moto 1. But Kevin Windham, what a ride. And then Lammy, a very consistent third-place finish. Ryan Hughes moves into 4th, and Robbie Raynard is 5th. Rounding out the top 10, Lusk, Emig, Huffman, Sheik, and Gaddis.
Hey, Doug, Kevin Windham had a killer hole shot, but you were whipping it up pretty strong. They went into the last turn. You come around. I couldn't see. What happened?
I don't know. You know, I went up in the back section, and he kind of slid out, and I kept my momentum going around the outside of him. My Honda really pulled up that hill, and I was able to pass him.
So it was just persistence and a little bobble and got you on that last lap, huh?
Yeah, he made a mistake, and I was right there.
How'd you feel during the whole moto?
I felt good. You know, this is the best I felt in a long time. Hopefully, you know, moto number 2, I'll feel the same.
Well, that's what we like to hear, and you're looking styling in the 20-year Fox gear.
You like that? Retro.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Thank you very much, Jerry. A little bit of a retro look, but speaking of looking, let's look toward the future. Kevin Windham, 16-year-old with his second-place finish. Jerry has caught up with him.
And killer hole shot. Your old man didn't even have an answer for me when I asked him, what do you think's going through his mind? He goes, I have no idea. You tell me. It was your second outdoor national. What was going through your mind with that hole shot and leading the race?
Man, it was so nerve-wracking up there on the line, but I was just thinking to get out there, get a good hole shot, and not force anything out there. Right now, you know, just now coming up, I don't really have any goals. I just want to go out there,
want to ride as smooth as possible and not let these guys get to your head, because when you're lined up next to people like Doug Henry and them, they really work on your brain.
Yeah, well, I think you showed them what you got deep down inside, because you put on an impressive moto there. Little bobble on the last lap. Can you tell us about it?
I'm so tired. I can't even hold on to this water bottle, but I got time to work on that. Like I said, my main goal is just go out there and make sure I don't get nervous, but I definitely got to start working out and stuff if I'm going to last the whole 30 minutes.
All right, good job, Kevin. Thanks a lot.
The all-new Geomax MX34 is the latest result of Dunlop's ongoing development with the help of top motocross pros. The all-new Geomax MX34 is the new industry standard for soft to intermediate terrain. Experience the advantage